Okay. So I will come a little closer here. Come on.
Cut it close.
Yeah. Well done. Okay. So welcome to episode 22 of Cutting It Close. As you can see, things are a bit different. This is on video. B, Kelsie is on board now as, how would you describe your position? Co-producer, co-host, just co-conspirator?
Co-producer, co-host,
Yeah.
co-conspirator, I guess. Yeah, all of the above.
All of the above. Yeah, so on the last episode, our Thanksgiving episode with Anella, and that wasn't the first time you were on, also with a guest, because you're also on with Jonah and Alika from Malcolm to Mackay, and then you came on with Anella. Was there any others aside from that?
No, just my solo one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was just super rad, so I asked if you'd be interested in partnering up, and you were like, no.
I had to twist your arm to allow me to come on as a co-host.
Oh, no, not at all. I am super stoked, super happy, super excited to have someone else involved with this. Yay. Because it's kind of a lot. And trying to do everything I wanted to do, I just wasn't able to do it by myself. But now with you involved, we've got this awesome guest tonight, Gerard Elmore, who's done a lot of stuff in the community, not the least of which is the Ohina Short Film Fest.
Kinda so we forever, huh? Just don't get what we owed.
What's your name, anyway?
Maya. We must act now for the kingdom.
Oh! She said just a couple of fights to get us on our feet.
We need to make this right. Tonight is your
I felt like it was a pretty good discussion, very interesting, very getting behind the eyes.
Gerard does so much for the Hawaii filmmaking community. So
yes.
We're so grateful to have him on and to showcase that. And we're appreciative to have him as a friend.
Yes.
Jeez, he's helped us so much.
Absolutely.
The beginning, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only the beginning.
Oh, yes.
We have our sights set high.
Super high. So, I guess that's it. But episode 22.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Try it again.
Oh, that's fine.
Gerard, thank you for being here.
Yeah, just making sure it's working there.
Yeah,
I was like, usually I can hear myself.
Yeah. Okay. Everything else, well, yeah, because you have it from the recorder. I just have it from the board. Oh, weird. Okay.
How'd you get to be such a tech whiz? Were you always like this, like in high school? And...
Oh no, you learn as you need to do things.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was making movies since high school, so you each time you need to learn something to get the movie done, or whatever, and so you just eventually learn things.
But you couldn't really YouTube it, right? Then.
No, YouTube wasn't really around.
Yeah.
So everything was film festival or through friends.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So great.
How did you get into filmmaking?
I got into filmmaking in high school, media class. They didn't really have a filmmaking class, but we made music videos, movies in class, and we just eventually got ambitious with what we wanted to do, and just kept making things on our free time.
Okay. Well, was there a film that inspired you that made you say, I want to do that, I could do that?
I think everyone has those films. I mean, you could point to a lot of 80s movies because that's when I kind of grew up, and Goonies and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, nice.
Things of that type. I think always get you pretty excited. Of course, there's going to be movies of this generation that are going to inspire the next crop. Mm-hmm. You know, it won't be those movies. So I think, you know, the movies that inspire you are going to change with each generation.
Yeah.
Is there one that inspired you, though?
I mean, you know, a lot of them inspired me. I watched a lot of movies and TV when I was a kid. Like, you know, every day TV would be on. I think, you know, it's changed now. Everyone's on their screen. So
Yeah.
how people consume media is different. So it was a lot of Spielberg type movies when I grew up. And of course, later in my life, it was different. More arts related films or artsy films and classic films and in a mix, you know.
I feel like I never grew out of Spielberg. Like, in terms of artsy stuff, I hear people reference, like, Kurosawa and Truffaut a bunch, and I've never seen any of those films, and I don't know.
Yeah. You know.
Like, what would you define as an artsy film?
Well, you know, you could argue that Hitchcock is a more artsy film.
Oh, yeah.
You know, international films, Japanese, Asian, they all have different techniques, different ways of making movies. Japanese are very, not a lot of movement. It's a little more stylized in that it's tripod shots, static, and letting the action play out. Whereas Korean cinema these days is very kinetic, moves a lot of camera movements, and a very Western style. And so you grab different things and you get inspired by different cultures and different ways of making movies, and you know, you kind of find your style.
Right on. Jurassic Park was the film for me. Saw that in theaters and was like, yeah, that's the movie I want to make. But I do want to say, one thing I'm super grateful for going through ACM is being made to watch more movies. Because I forgot, I took Glenn Mann's class. Do you know him? Yeah, I took his class twice, actually, his 300 and 400 level course. And that's almost all foreign films. And that really just opened my mind, blew my mind on more than one occasion as to what can be done with film.
Yeah, a lot of that you can get at Hawaii International Film Festival every year. You'll see, you know, a wide range of different films. You know, and that's where, you know, I used to watch a whole lot of them as I was still, you know, figuring out what I wanted to do. So, and you know, as soon as I got out of high school, I was submitting short films to Hawaii International Film Festival and a bunch of other places. So,
where did you grow up?
Mainly here, but I was born on the mainland. So,
Okay.
What high school did you graduate from?
Campbell High School.
Okay.
So, you know.
And then immediately you were submitting to HIF, huh?
It was pretty close to it. I mean, you know, there was Ohina was around then, and it was a different format. It was harder to get into Ohina, and we couldn't quite get into Ohina. So my first one that got in was at HIF.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, but HIF was a lot different than it is today. You know, there wasn't a lot of local films. There wasn't a lot of local short films. So, you know, the bar is a little lower than it is now. Now I think it's harder to get into HIF. I think back then it's just harder to make movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was coming at it as if there needs to be a defining moment, but what I'm gathering is it was just more organic, like you just kind of knew. Like was there ever any question that you would get into filmmaking, or were you thinking like, I'm going to go off and be a bicycle technician? Or was it always like film?
I graduated in business.
Oh, okay.
Because it was practical, but I always did film on the side. Okay. There was no ACM when I was around, so there was no film route. So I just kind of did it on the side, and I just kept doing it. I kept submitting the films, and every year we would get in with something, and we just kept doing it.
What was the? Oh, sorry.
Oh.
What was the first movie you ever made?
I think it was called Sour Gummy Bears. Kind of like a spy comedy. We did it for fun, and it didn't make any sense. And the third version of it, there was like little sequels of each one. And the third one, we put everything we knew into it, and made something that looked better. It still kind of didn't quite make sense, but we were using it to figure out how to do certain things.
Okay.
Effects.
How old were you?
I think the first one was definitely it was still in high school, so for 16, 17.
Okay.
Is it on YouTube?
No, I don't think that is. I think the one that's on IMDb that came after that kind of put it all together and was kind of a big hit was The Amazing Asian. Amazing. And that had Wine Man as the villain.
Okay.
But we had comedians, and a lot of them have gone off and done great things. And,
No kidding.
they brought a lot because they're all comedians, and so they improv'd a lot. And that was a big hit. And I went to Fantasia and was being talked about a lot.
Oh, nice.
And so that was a good idea that still actually holds up today. As possibly something that I'll come back to.
Sure.
Because it's actually got a lot of good ideas in it. It was a little rough around the edges, but good concepts.
Yeah. What was it about film that made you want to stay with it?
Well, we say film, but I guess technically it's all video.
Right.
We did do film a couple times, but
No kidding.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's hard. You're gonna have to, learn how to load a camera.
And would you do your own editing, or have someone else do that?
Someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's changed.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The one that you did with Anne Misawa, was that film?
No, that was video.
Oh, okay.
And that was my feature film that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she helped me with that.
Nice.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, well, Anne shot with film before that. And back then, digital was still not the best format, but it was more accessible, so it was cheaper.
Would that have been mini DV?
No, it was solid state, but it was like a P2 Panasonic camera. But, the cameras have gotten a lot better since then.
I mean, cameras on our phones are capable of producing movies.
Yeah, and so, Anne's really good at making anything look good, so she was able to take something that was pretty inferior camera and making it look good.
Yeah.
For
sure.
So, yeah, you look back at how it looks, and it's definitely not as sharp as some of the other movies that are out these days.
So you graduated with business, because practical, doing film on the side. How long, or was there a period of time where you had to do the practical stuff to pay the bills before you could jump into film as a sustaining career, or was it always, I don't know?
It took a while.
Okay.
Of paying dues.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
I did a lot of short films, and actually that's all I wanted to do. And someone asked if I wanted to try commercials, and so I started to go down that direction, and they helped me get started, and that was Shooters.
You got really lucky. How did you get in with Shooters so fast?
Well, like I said, I was constantly doing films, just short films, and at that point I was doing my feature film.
Okay, yeah.
And they they said we need someone else, and they were willing to pitch me because in this town, it's all relationships. It's not, you can't just kind of walk in and you're good to go.
Like, we're making a movie, and everyone's like, huzzah!
Yeah, no, you got to work at it and definitely get to where I'm at now. It took years of proving that I can do it. So, it just here, especially, it takes a long time to really get to a place where you can be sustaining and do it. And now I bounce around a lot, and it makes me versatile. And when I was doing it and starting out, I did a bunch of things. I DIT'd, I edited, I did different things that I needed to do. So,
what's DIT'd?
Digital image technician.
Okay.
So, I don't know how many people use DITs anymore. I don't, because I used DIT, so I just do it on my own. But really, it's data wranglers just collecting data, collecting media and things like that. And as our media has gotten better, bigger drives, it's not really that important anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I've had one on every short film I've been.
It's helpful.
On. Yeah.
It's helpful. Yeah. But I personally don't. I just do it myself.
You're DP too, so you just go home and do it.
Yeah, I just go home with the media and just dump it off. I mean, it's no big deal. Definitely, if you're doing a commercial, you're not gonna shoot that much. But a movie, you probably would start thinking about a DIT. A true DIT that doesn't just collect data, though. A true DIT is looking at the image, putting settings into the camera, controlling the look, working with the DP to get the look, and making LUTs. Putting LUTs on the monitors, putting LUTs in the camera, and that's something that I definitely do on my own. I put settings in cameras and have specific looks that I want. So, when you're DP as well, you can really hone that in. And so I make LUTs and create looks.
Okay.
And color after effect too. Yeah.
Cool. Now, do you have, let's talk about Ohina.
Okay.
How did you get involved with Ohina? Like, where did that come into the picture?
Well, Ohina's been around for a long time.
Right.
Since, was it 2009?
Okay.
Wait, no. 1999.
Whoa.
Is that right? Yeah, 1999.
Okay.
The start of it was actually to be an alternative to HIF, because it was hard to get into HIF, and the guys that started it couldn't get into HIF. So they started this kind of this side showcase of local films, and it was only meant for local short films. And so they were doing it every year at the Doris Duke Theater, and we tried to get in a couple times, couldn't get in, but eventually when we got in, we would get in consistently. And then they got burnt out and they couldn't do it anymore. And just from my experience with as an Ohina filmmaker over the years, doing a bunch of shorts, I said, hey, I can help you guys out, and I could take it over. And then Jason kind of gave his blessing and said, just go for it if you think you can do it. And so I ran with it, and we were sticking to that old format, but just last year we changed the format to what it is now. Which is more original content, filmmaker lab,
right,
and bringing in these mentors to usher in these films. So, yeah.
So how long ago was it that you got involved? Was it just the last couple of years?
No, I think it's 6 or 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how long it's been going again?
Yeah, it was a big break, maybe 2-3 years. And I think I even skipped a year So that's why it's probably technically 6, and that's 7. I think we skipped Ohina a year because we were just kind of getting burnt out too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of have this new version of it now.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Before we jump into that, so you're already hustling to make ends meet, and you're hustling to fulfill your filmmaking passion. Why on earth would you take on Ohina?
Well, at the time, I wasn't as busy
Okay.
as I am now.
Okay. But even then, you know, like, I would think, I don't know, this is just me, you'd be more focused on, and you, the general you, one would be more focused on trying to make movies or something.
Well, I did a feature film, and I've been making movies, and I've made a few, and I have some feature-length scripts that I've been trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was important to do this. And the past years it was a lot easier because you're just collecting movies.
Mm-hmm.
But starting from last year, I mean, it becomes more involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's what we want, which is to build the infrastructure. And, if I want to make my movie, I have to kind of have that infrastructure a little bit more solid.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I got my projects, but I'm working on something now that's a doc and trying to finish the editing on that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's taking a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have to get through those before I can take on the projects that I have on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some scripts that I really want to do, and when I have the time,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to do those.
Yeah.
I don't know how you find the time to do anything, really. You're so busy. You haven't even mentioned Nella at all, Nella Media Group.
Yeah.
I mean, how many hands do you have to juggle all these things?
Well,
It's
this
easy.
year has been very challenging.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, again, over time, it kind of starts to accumulate. And, it's just, you have to say no, start saying no.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Nella Media Group and NMG Network is the full-time job.
Yeah.
And we, this year was a big year because we built a brand new network from the ground up. It was just me by myself. So we have been bringing on people to help with the workload. But as we were doing that, we were kickstarting this new version of Ohina. And so, I mean, it wasn't a good time to be doing it, but it had to be done.
Well,
and
yeah, we're so grateful. This new version of Ohina is amazing, but
It's epic.
yeah, and I think it's what we have to do, and that's why, because this idea was something that I had this idea for, which was to bring in these mentors, and Eric Reese had the connections to Marvel.
Yeah.
He knows Nate Moore, who's kind of the guy who made Black Panther happen. So having that guy available, we just didn't know how we were going to apply it. And I just had the idea, and I always wanted to do original content with Ohina. And I thought this was a good opportunity to create a lab. And so we just pitched it to Joe Robert Cole, and Joe Robert Cole was game. And because he was game, and because he was so kind and patient, and made this thing a success, I think that's why we have others who want to help.
And who is Joe Robert Cole?
Well, he's a co-writer of Black Panther.
Just a co-writer of Black Panther.
He's also a director. He's directing something for Netflix right now.
Oh, no kidding.
He's blowing up in his time. He's someone that's extremely busy. A lot of our mentors are extremely busy.
But what a selfless thing that they do if they come over.
They are excited to do it. Eric
So
Pearson.
Yeah.
He's extremely busy. He's been working on Godzilla vs. Kong as a screenwriter.
Oh,
and he's been helping with the rewrite for that, and so between that he's been mentoring one of the fellows.
I know Dana's still chatting with Nella.
Yes, and Dana was my PA on my feature film, and you know,
This
and
world is so cool.
She's come full circle, and now I thought that was perfect to bring her back to be a mentor. And of course, she was extremely happy to get back to Hawaii because she always wanted to do that. So, you know, a lot of them want to come back, and next year there's already people who want to contribute. You know, and even Eric has pointed out people with Hawaii connections that are making movies. He's also helping a guy who's directing Detective Pikachu.
Nah.
And so that director's from Kailua.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he says he was helping him with the script. And so
Hawaii's on the map.
yeah, so
Awesome.
there's a lot of connections. You know, and Chris Lee knows a lot of people too. But you know, I think it's not an issue to get people over here. Creative Lab does the same thing, and they're able to bring in some good talent. So I think that's what was missing, which is just having some guidance from people who do it for a living.
Yeah.
Of course, I do it for a living, but people here don't always listen to me. You know, and you know, it's. But not everything is correct and everything is right.
Yeah.
So even with the people coming in, we always tell people to take the stuff that you think will help, and do your best, make your project. So, but yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of great stuff happening with Ohina. Will continue to happen with Ohina. NMG is becoming a distribution platform for some of these films, as well as local content. We're in hotel rooms. We're in Hawaiian Airlines. We're going to the neighbor islands, and we're going to the mainland with a lot of the content. And that's where we're trying to stick Ohina films and Ohina content into that, as well as some other local stories. And then, of course, there's, other stuff in the wings.
Sorry.
There's a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Second, I thought it was a freaking big alarm thing.
Like a tsunami warning.
Tsunami or another nuke.
They're shooting Apex across the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's across the street.
Yeah.
It's their rap night.
How are you doing on time?
Good.
Okay, cool. What time do you need to jet?
Maybe soonish.
Soonish? Oh, okay. Well,
Poor guy's so busy. He's got
yeah.
kids too,
Yeah, for real. I was thinking we'll do like a 2-hour like Pete Holmes thing, but hey, he likes the time. I like the charisma. So.
So there's Ohina, and then there's NMG Network. Is there something else too besides Zelda and Marnie? Business wise.
I still do freelance here and there, on top of everything. But that's a case by cases
no doubt
basis. And there's a lot of nonprofits that need videos that I've been working with and working with right now.
Yeah. Is that what your documentary is?
The documentary is for Krista Super CW. She's a personality in town. And she has cancer, and it's kind of her journey through it. So, I'm rapidly trying to get it cut, made. Just been putting my head down, trying to get it done. So the goal is probably by the end of this week I can kind of show something.
Right on.
Dang, man, that's great.
Yeah. So that's on top of everything, but
You seem like you're like building this empire by giving it back to the community.
No, I think it's you want everyone to contribute and be part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Setting an example. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, Ohina's always been community based. It's always been about gathering people together. It's not about building an empire. I think the empire part would be more, the NMG side of things, because that's that's more about providing distribution of Hawaii content and monetizing it. As opposed to Ohina is creating and producing IP. And that IP can go right to NMG Network, or it can go to Netflix. It can go to a bunch of places. But there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of new opportunities coming up all the time with the work that we're producing. So, it's an exciting time, but there's still a lot of work to do to get it to where it needs to be. Yeah.
With your years of experience from the time you started up until this point, what advice would you give someone who just got the itch, who just started saying, I want to do this?
You just have to produce a reel. So, you have to just keep creating content. You have to keep creating your own content and be very good at it. You have to do a little bit of everything if you want to stand out. Nowadays, you can't just be good at one thing. You have to be good at a lot of things. And so that's why I stay busy, because I get called for different things, even all the way down to making DCPs of movies, and I accidentally learned how to do that because the theaters needed help with it. So I was working on a movie, and they needed DCP, and they had the facilities to do it at Hawaii Theater, and they had no one to figure out the machine. So so they brought me in. They said, if you can figure it out, we'll let you use it. So I spent a week in there just trying to figure out the workflow and how to make it work. And then I did it, and then festivals would call me up to do that.
Nice.
Yeah. Sometimes I would get called up to DIT movies and TV shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's how you succeed. That's how you build your reputation.
So be versatile.
Yeah. Do a little bit of everything.
And have I would imagine, a can-do attitude instead of a, I don't know if that's going to work.
Well, that's right for every job. Every job you're going to need to have a really good personality, be above, or kind of know what the next move is without being told. Be proactive.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, don't want to keep you any longer than necessary. Is there anything you want to say to the world before we head out?
Anything you're looking to promote?
I think the next batch of movies that are going to be coming to Ohina are very exciting. I think all of the scripts that are getting made, that people are talking about being made, are exciting. Totally different genres than last year. I think there's a lot of exciting things that are on the horizon that I can't that are not quite solid yet. But I think there's good things happening, and I think if people just keep making work and keep helping others, I think it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a good situation in Hawaii. And the one big thing, if there's one thing to talk about, is people are gonna have to go down to the ledge, and they're gonna have to lobby because right now there's a cap that's gonna come into play, and that's gonna limit the amount of movies, TV shows that can come in, and that will limit the work that ACM students can get. And
for tax benefits, you mean? A cap on
yeah,
that?
because right now it's 25% tax rebate.
Yeah.
30% on neighbor islands for any productions coming in. That's why you have a Apex, Godzilla, that type of movies coming in, because they take advantage of that tax credit. The moment you cap that, after it hits a certain threshold, no one else can take advantage of those credits. So
they're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah,
It's
so
like Atlanta and Toronto.
yeah, they don't have caps. So
Yeah.
so this year I think it comes into play. And I think it's gonna hurt.
Nice.
So it's hard for the NMGs and the local companies to support everyone. So it's going to be very important that there's production coming from outside
Yes.
that uses the talent that's here. If not, it's going to be kind of rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bottom line is everyone has to do their part.
Take action.
Yeah. Write testimony. Show up and do what they can.
Right on. Where can we find you, or what you want us to find on the internet? Like Ohina, for example.
Ohina is done for this year.
Okay.
That's ohina.org.
Okay.
There'll be another round of submissions for anyone that has a script, because we'll have a lab again. I think we've already lined up our mentors.
Okay.
Sneak peek. No.
You
Can't say yet.
I just want to make sure, but I mean,
It's next fall. Are you looking at?
just went dead.
Oh.
That one did?
Car full.
Whoa. Okay, I'm glad we have a backup then. That's a first. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just continue using the backup. Set that over here. And yes, sorry. Continue.
Okay, son, let's get rid of this.
Sure. Yeah. It was.
Yeah. So, what was I saying?
Just the next lab. It's gonna be next fall.
Yeah, it's gonna be
probably.
next fall, and we'll try to give a lot of notice. It takes a lot of time to get through the scripts, so we'll try to get it earlier deadline. It looks like a lot of the shorts are gonna be shooting in the summer, so we'll see.
ACM
If
students, get ready. We're coming.
Yeah, and then those films will play at HIF next year.
Nice.
Yeah, no showcase this year.
It'll be a showcase, but it'll be just wrapped into HIF. And
During HIF week.
so
groovy.
timing will be in sync. But yeah,
Still
Ohina's
at,
still.
Hawaii Theater.
We don't know that
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
But I think the showcase is, the best local short films.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it'll maintain the Ohina Short Film Showcase, but now it's the lab is kind of the big thing in pushing this new content. And another thing is just check out nmgnetwork.com and see all the different content that we've produced, different channels that were produced, and continue to make. We'll have a lot more coming in the new year. So, there's that. And of course, my personal site is vimeo.com /Gerard Elmore, and see all my personal stuff.
All right.
Where can we see your feature?
Feature film was, I don't know if it's still there, on Amazon.
Oh, it's on Prime?
Not on Prime, but like a DVD. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I can grab it. This is real life.
It's
Oh, good.
This is very experimental.
Thank you so much.
That's
Very
all good.
prototypical. So
It's all good.
We'll wrap up for you, Gerard.
Oh, that's all good.
Looking forward to the holidays.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go to Big Island tomorrow.
Nice.
Dang.
Family or business?
Business.
Okay.
Always business.
Gonna shoot something.
Oh man.
Vimeo.com /Gerard Elmore. That's the personal stuff, and then the.
Sorry. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. No problem.
Thank you.
The feature film is on Amazon if you want to buy a DVD.
Oh,
There's
cool.
a DVD
I
that's
see.
still on there.
Nice.
At one point, it was in Blockbusters.
No kidding.
There's no
That's
Blockbusters.
That's really cool.
Well, it you know, it was a big deal because it was on Hulu on the front page.
Oh yeah.
And so that was kind of a, one of those things where you're excited about.
Uh-huh.
I made it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, you get pretty excited about.
Did you take a picture of it in Blockbuster?
No.
Did you steal the front cover once
No.
they closed?
No, but
Yeah.
that was it was a good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
The Amazing Agent is on IMDb.
Okay.
And it's
What's the
standard def.
premise there for that one? You said that you could revisit it and it still would hold up.
Yeah, because a lot of people are talking about cultural appropriation and races and diversity. And right now that's what we're talking about. And that movie deals with a superhero who's a minority and who is getting teased because he's a minority. And when I was thinking about how you would spin that, you can definitely play with the different ethnic themes at play there. So the movie has a lot of stereotypical jokes, but of course they're said by actors who are Asian or Hawaiian, so it works. And it would be the same thing if you revisit it, which is, can you have a Hispanic ninja? I would argue yes. But in the movie, they would, that could be a joke, which is like, you're not supposed to have Hispanic ninjas. And then the guy would go back and said, I went to ninja school. I studied ninjatology. And people would say, what's that? And he was like, hey, you should be an equal opportunity person and embrace me. And on their job application, they put stuff like can throw shanks, can throw ninja stars, can assassinate people and disappear in the dark. So that's already a lot of stuff.
That's so modern. That's so 2018 too. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you play with the stereotypes and you play with the ethnic play of it, and the general premise of a superhero who does not get any respect or gets any jobs because he's Asian, and all the good jobs are going to the blonde Caucasian superheroes. So I think that's pretty practical. And we played with that. I think, we played with that with the short. I haven't watched it in a bit, but I'm pretty sure there was someone called Halle Boy.
Oh my God, Wine-Eyed Man and Halle Boy.
Yeah, and Halle Boy was the sidekick to Wine-Eyed Man, so that made all sorts of sense. And he also
poster in my room.
He also interpreted everything that Wine-Eyed Man said because he was heavy pigeon. So so there were subtitles every time he talked.
Nice.
But again, that's very practical because we're talking about diversity. Now, and anyways, that's why I thought that would be something that'd be worthwhile to explore again. And I had kind of a rough premise put together, which is a minority superhero who doesn't fight crime because he's discriminated against.
That's so funny. And you say you just brought your comedian friends along and they just kind of riffed and improv their way to a movie?
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the dream, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, so that's, I think, sometimes, old ideas are pretty good. Of course, it wasn't quite that when you watch the movie, but, definitely had a lot of those ideas in there.
Yeah. Right on.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
We've got to check it out.
Yeah, IMDb, the standard def version of it.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for, again, doing this. Sorry for all the mishaps that occurred. I swear to God, I've never had the memory card fill up before. We've never had a trash lady come through. Yeah, this has just been a little nuts.
That's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, screen, and conversation. So, yeah, it's gonna be
Thank you for
better.
your time and your expertise.
I would
Sharing a
love
little bit
to
of that.
have you back again when this is a little more polished out.
Okay.
And when you have a little more time on your hands, should that ever happen in this lifetime.
Yeah, maybe next year. I mean,
Okay.
Do you think you and the wife would come on?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
really
she'd
cool.
be willing to come on.
Yeah.
She's happy to talk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Right on. That's a commitment. Just kidding. No, not really.
Yeah.
But, all right, cool.
Have
We'll
a
go
great
ahead
holiday
and...
season.
Yeah, you too. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry
Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All the
Yeah.
jazz.
Yeah.
And we'll cut the feed here. There it goes. Hey.